it sounds like the OnlyFans girls are going to be on a long vacation because they will no longer be doing extremely provocative content on OnlyFans anymore. Don't know a clean way to put that. Listen, they're taking away the porn. All right, listen, there's no more spank material. That's where it gets a little murky at. So I believe they're ditching porn and sex work because it's trying to get new investments. It's ditching them because on October 1st of 2021, MasterCard is implementing new rules governing sites with adult content using their payment processing system. So it's, big businesses doing what big businesses do. The interesting part is, what is OnlyFans gonna be without this kind of content? That's the question that I'm asking myself. And I think most people are thinking this. I just think the stench of what they are will never change. I don't think anyone's gonna ever look at like OnlyFans as this upmost, morally superior site that only does artistic takes. And I do believe that is the word they use, that you can still post nudity, which is interesting to me. You can still post nudity on the OnlyFans website, but it has to be an artistic taste, and it has to also be within their guidelines. What those guidelines are, I don't think that has exactly been exposed just at this moment, but it's interesting to me that they're still going to allow very similar content, but not quite the same content. So that is one thing that I'm thinking, is what exactly are they gonna be now? But on the other hand, I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, there's a real possibility of some other group or some other website taking their place. And I'm curious who that's gonna be. My first thought was Patreon, but then I did a little research and I realized that Patreon had the same thing going on. So I wasn't hip. I didn't know that Patreon also had a similar beginning. And I guess, to be fair, Patreon's still around. So is there a chance that OnlyFans potentially finds a way to stay relevant, finds a way to stay around? I don't know, because I'm pretty sure why OnlyFans is a thing is because they came in to fill the niche that Patreon left behind. They left behind a niche for, creators and sexualized creators. So going forward, are they going to be able to sustain off of the other side of the platform, the rest of the people? And I'm sure the people who are, doing content that isn't sexual content are probably, already diversified. They probably have a Patreon as well. So we'll see. I personally, I've been asking around trying to find people that use OnlyFans and in this sense. And I genuinely can't really find anyone. So it's weird to me that there's so many people, but somehow no one is on there. I mean, I assume a lot of people maybe just don't like to talk about the fact that, this is the kind of stuff that they're consuming in their free time. It is a little bit different from what I understand. I don't know exactly. I understand the logistics a little bit as far as, you put out stuff, you pay a subscription fee, or you pay a subscription fee, they put out things, you consume them. It's, any subscription model. It does sound like you are in some kind of a weirder, like, more personable relationship with just a single person, or at least maybe that's the appeal of it to the consumer, is like you have like this one-on-one tap into their life. Me personally never got into it. Try to stay away from the whole the I try to stay away from the that kind of content as a whole. So the OnlyFans thing never appealed to me, and never got into it. So I'm just curious, man, if you guys are into it. Like, I would be curious to find, leave some comments below. Let me know like what exactly it is that appeals to people as far as like this over maybe just going to the hub. Why wouldn't you just do that and not pay anything? I don't know. I do think it's an interesting move. I think a lot of people are a little upset. I think a lot of people are looking at the worker side of it, and they're like, you pulled the rug out underneath these people. And I tend to somewhat agree, although I think people know, and I think people who are into that do these kind of things, I think that they know that they're always kind of skating on thin ice with this stuff, and they kind of know that it's always a possibility that they could be removed at any time. I did think Harris Heller's tweet was kind of funny last night. Harris Heller said, "This OF rug pull is just another reminder to all creators: diversify. You'll never be a platform's top priority." Now, I just think that's funny because he's not wrong, but it's also like the kind of content that it is like, just, I don't know. I think he's lacking a lot of like, not context, but when you put it out there, like, diversify, like, where else were they gonna diversify at? Like, where else were they gonna put that kind of content at? Like, what other platform were they gonna do that on? I guess maybe the hub has something similar, but Patreon's not promoting that kind of content. I don't think Twitch has like some softcore stuff, and you see people like Anoramus taking advantage of that, which is a bit odd. And outside of that, I don't really know where else exactly they would put that at. This is kind of weird. So I just thought that was funny, man. He was actually the person who first kind of broke the news to me. This lady is saying this is exactly why sex workers need a site a site curated for and by sex workers. Nobody understands the struggle like those who have been there. That's what OnlyFans was supposed to be. Addy, episode Fox. He's a pretty big YouTuber here. Regardless of the platforms you use, it'll always be scary to put all your eggs in one basket. I do agree. And me personally, I am really trying to do a good job of spreading myself around to as many different places as I can, without, completely spreading myself too thin. And that's really all I got to say about that. Talking about spreading ourselves thin, though, I'm going to move on and talk about my boy Tebow. I don't think he said anything the last few days, but he's got cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tebow was on the team for just a few months. He made it through the first week of training camp, went to the first preseason game, played pretty awful, and now that boy is up out of there. And I don't feel bad for him because, and I only say I don't feel bad for him because he's still rich and he still has a good life, and like, he'll always have, a lot of opportunities. The game of football did so much for that man. I did kind of like the thought of like him going down to Jacksonville with Urban Meyer, who I love as an Ohio State fan, and seeing him potentially, doing something, maybe kind of getting back some of that old Florida Gators energy and just kind of, doing that whole deal again and finding out like if he maybe has something left in the tank. Maybe seeing some of those old, I don't know if you guys remember like the jump passes that Urban Meyer created. I think solely for Tebow, where they just kind of like quarterback sneak and then they just jump over and throw it to the tight end. It was fun. It was a fun offense. I do remember those offenses. I was a pretty young kid, man, but it was a fun offense. It was a fun time for the Gators. Now I'm not a Gators fan, but it's still always interesting to see, wrinkles and different. It was a different time for college quarterbacks at the time. Tebow mania was definitely real. And I'm not an overly religious guy, but I just can't help but, kind of like the guy, you know what I mean? I don't think there's really much else I could say about that. Um yeah, rolling on though. Right into the weekend. Not a whole lot going on. Just kind of gearing down personally, getting ready for this trip to Florida for myself. I'm going down to Tampa. Spending some time, some 10 days away from video games and probably not completely away from the internet, but won't be in my normal routine of waking up, staring at YouTube, and looking at the computer every day. So a nice change of pace for myself, and I guess I'm a little excited for that in some ways. I do think that that is a necessary thing that people need in their life to get away from, and I'm a little excited for it. So that should be fun, and I'm looking forward to that a little bit. But I'm also a little hurt that I'm not going to be able to put out much content over the next couple of weeks. It does make me a little makes me a little sad. No, I shouldn't say sad. Sad is not the right word to use, but it does make me a little just, I guess, anxious because I was getting on a little bit of a roll here and been putting together a lot of content and really working on my craft, and I'm starting to feel like just that excitement and momentum and that kind of waking up with a little bit of fire in my belly to just get after it and keep putting out stuff has been fun and been good for me so far. I'm never quite on the level of some of these other guys that are on Twitch. The bigger streamers, man, are kind of nutty, man. This last couple of weeks has been insane. Speaking of which, man, Timmy's back on Apex right now already. This man just did a 54-hour stream just a little less than 2 days ago, and he's already back on Twitch streaming again, grinding some ranked with the boys, Wig and Appraisy. I'm excited for these. I'm excited for this group, man. I think this group right here, Wig, Appraisy, and Timmy, is gonna be a fun freaking group, man. If you don't follow Apex Legends, these are just 3 guys, man, that are really, really good at the game. They're not really people that compete necessarily as a pro team, but they have put together a little bit of a team to start competing. Just they're all content creators on I shouldn't say individual platforms, but they're all on Twitch. They're all content creators on Twitch, and they all a little bit different. They all do their own thing, but seeing them come together, it's a group of 3 really, really good guys, and they are awesome together. I would like to see them put it together and actually maybe make a run at this thing. I think it'll be kind of interesting to see because they don't always grind together, but I think they are starting to buckle down maybe a little bit and put the time in to get used to each other and get used to play styles and how each other are going to play together going forward. So I'm excited for them, man. I definitely love to see these 3, do well. Especially, you can't help but root for Timmy, man. Timmy's just a funny guy. He's just a good guy, man. He's like, one of those people you can't help but root for, especially the way he's been playing, man. And I remember when I first came in to the streaming scene and just like watching different creators and stuff, I mean, I think Timmy was still, getting close to like, I want to say maybe 1,000 viewers, maybe less. I'm not sure. But now sitting at 22K regularly, sometimes more on an average day is just the growth that man's had. So I'm excited for him, and I hope that maybe one day personally I'll do the same. Maybe some kind of blow up for myself, man. My favorite quote that I keep reminding myself whenever I get down on myself is what if it goes better than you could ever imagine, is one I got from Russ, man. So that's exciting. I think that is about it for the podcast side of this thing, man. I think I'm going to